The following program is rated T for teen for the use of tools and materials that can be harmful to unsupervised usage. Viewer discretion is advised.
Adam! Adam! Ah! You son of a... I'm gonna get you for this! Why is it every single time there's a... Ah! Why don't you go in that box? It's so cold! Are we outside? What is happening? I'm sorry for calling you a loser! You know what? You know what? You suck! What? I'm gonna get you for this! No dog's ever gonna like you! You're gonna be miserable forever when I get out of here! Oh, God! Why am I gonna look so dumb? I'm never gonna see my dog again! Oh, I'm gonna have to do hair! Oh, God! Oh, I feel like I just got run over by a truck.
Sorry about that. Hello everyone, Mister Waugh here from Mister Waugh Media, and yes, that is my actual name.
And I'm Mia in a box.
That's right. Well, Mia, I got some good news and some bad news for you today.
I'm in a box. How does it get worse?
Well, first off, the good news, we don't have to deal with the closet and the quarantine anymore.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they just made an indefinite lockdown here in British Columbia. I know. But there is some silver lining.
What's the silver lining?
We can still actually film together. We're here at the store, and we can shoot.
What? We're at the store.
Yeah.
We really were outside?
Yeah.
When I get out of this box, so God help me, I'm going to bubble you. I'm calling you.
Well, folks, we got a very unique episode for you guys. It's great to have Mia back, and I hope you're as excited as I am to be working on this.
I feel like a pancake.
That's fantastic. We're going to be doing apocalyptic scenery, enough to cover this entire table.
Why do you let you talk me into this kind of stuff? I could just stay in the closet.
That's true, but this time it's all about you. From start to finish, you are going to be doing all the episode. I can't wait to see what you do. I'm going to go get the pizzas. Let's see what you can come up with.
What? Wait, what?
A few moments later.
Wow, it's so nice. Why doesn't mine look like that?
Okay, don't panic, Mia. Calm down. We've seen him do this a million times on the YouTube channel. I'll just watch a couple episodes. I'll get the basic idea. Okay, let's start with some walls. I'll make them like 3 inches by 5 inches long, or the other will be like 4 inches long. That'll totally work, right? I have no idea what I'm doing. Last resort. I'll call him. Hey, it's me. I just don't hang up. I need your help, please. I just
Okay, calm down.
Okay,
All right, so you got your roof. That's going to be 5 inches long by about 4 inches wide. And before we hit that one, though, you got to finish the walls. So get the hot glue gun and start mounting them together. Yes, but you still need to do the others as well. Yeah, there's 4 walls to a house, usually. So once you get those all bound together, then we can move on to the next step. Should be sturdy, right? Yeah. All right, that looks good. There you go. It looks fine.
I did
looks
it!
fine.
Yes!
Yes, I'm very proud of you. Okay, now you're going to take that glue, put it around the entire edge like that. Yeah, there you go. And then just mount the roof into place. And that should be good. It'll be nice and durable.
Yeah, I think so. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, there you go. You got this. See, you don't even need
Don't
me.
leave!
Okay, fine. I'm here. All right, let's start working on the base. For this one, we're going to take our 1/2 inch thick styrofoam and begin marking out the boundaries. For this, I'm going to have the width of the ruler. So that's that's roughly an inch, right? And this is going to give our sidewalk. The reason I did this is it matches all the other pieces that we've made, and that way we can clip them all together and have that nice uniform look. So for this case, it's going to make it about 7 inches by 6 inches in total, give or take a few centimeters perhaps. Now, Mia's going to cut this out as clean as she can with the razor blade. She's going a little bit slow, doing a couple takes with it. And just be careful when you're pulling the blade.
Could I potentially lose a thumb?
Well, potentially yes, so, just be careful. There you go. And just take your time with it.
Yeah, I need those.
Yes, you want to keep your thumb. That is very useful. And once we have that chopped out, we're going to take the hot glue gun once more, and we're going to mount our box down firmly into the base. And this is going to give us the skeleton of our structure.
Wow, I'm done? That was pretty easy. I don't know why I thought this would be so hard.
Well, that's just the skeleton. There's still everything else needs to go on there.
So you basically lied to me.
Yeah. After wiping all the tears off her face, Mia decided to gather some resources. So she gathered up the scissors and the wavy cardboard and cut it both diagonally and horizontally. All the strips were about 1 inch wide, which was, again, the width of the ruler. That way she'd have a pretty standard template to work with all the sidewalks and the wall panels themselves. So she gathered herself about a dozen or so strips and moved on to the next phase.
Does this thing come with an instruction manual?
No, it does not.
Fine, I'll do it my way.
Mia began to glue a bunch of the wavy cardboard all over the both sidewalk and the building itself. And once she had a few of those in place, she decided to work on the wooden segments. For these ones, it's just coffee stir sticks chopped to random lengths. In this case, it was about 5 inches wide to make some very long planks. It takes about 4 coffee stir sticks to cover the width of the sidewalk. For the ½ inch up, obviously, that would only require 2. And we gathered about, I want to say, 3 dozen different strips to use for various sizes, for different positions. Some of them we did lengthwise, some of them we did really short and stubby, just to give it a really random and chaotic, almost haphazardly thrown together look. While she was at it, she also cut a ½ inch strip that was about 4 inches long from the looks of it here, and slaps it on the side of the building. For this entire build, she's been using the hot glue gun. You can get away with white glue as well, but because it takes a little bit longer to work with, it's just not really worth it. But if it's all you have on hand, that works too. Especially in the case for this one here. This is just a screen door piece that we gathered from the local hardware store, and she's going to mount it here with the hot glue gun. Just be careful when you do so, and don't glue your fingers to it.
Why didn't you tell me this earlier?
I tried to warn you. Alright, before the cameras rolled, we actually prefabricated a couple wall panels. This one here with the wavy cardboard has a nice industrial welded look to it. These ones with the coffee stir sticks have a broken down fence kind of image. And the last one is with an even thinner screen door that's just mounted to some cardboard. It's a very fine mesh that you can see here, and we'll also use it for the roof. Once we were satisfied with these panels, we're just going to glue them to the side of the building. Now, these 3 are already taken care of, but we're going to have Mia fabricate the last one and do a little bit more random element. Something that's very clobbered together. There's no real feng shui to it. Now, you might actually find it easier to make these prefabricated pieces beforehand. We just took the thin serial panel and glued everything onto it. However, in the original project, I actually started throwing things against it just to see what would stick, and that was half of the fun. So it's totally up to you if you want to have sort of a constructed approach to it, or if, like in this build, having the prefabricated helped a little bit. But here you can see Mia going to town on the 4th wall. And this has just got some wavy cardboard plastered on there, lots of the coffee stir sticks. There's no real rhyme or reason to it. And the inspiration for this build was a lot of stuff like Mad Max, the Fallout series, which we have done previously. The apocalyptic Shanty Town. There's just such a universal vibe of it, if you know what I mean. It can be used in almost any gaming system you want.
It's actually pretty straightforward and easy to build, all things considered, because the pieces are easy to work with and you're not struggling during construction.
Mia decided that she wanted to have a window for the side of the building, but she didn't really want to go too crazy with this. So instead what we did was make a boarded up plank on the side of it. It's basically 4 coffee stir sticks wide, 1 inch tall, with a couple glued across the side to bolt everything in place, which she just slapped to the side of the building. Like so. And it's a very basic window. For the rooftop, we went back to that really thin sheet of screen door and cut it out 5 inches by 4 inches wide. And that's just going to get glued in place. For this one, I probably would recommend using the white glue. It's just going to take a lot longer to dry. In this case, we're using Elmer's Clear because we have it on hand, but it works pretty much exactly the same as the white glue. Just take your finger, spread it around as best you can, make sure you get it all the way out to the edges. You can use a tool if you feel more comfortable with that, but, you know, we're all young at heart, so just have fun with it. Just make sure you have it on there nice and even. Like so. Huzzah. While she waited for the rooftop to dry, Mia decided to jump onto the door. This is going to be 2 inches tall by 1 inch wide using the wavy cardboard. It's certainly not going to be beautiful, but it's going to have a nice rugged look, and it's probably strong enough to keep out any mutants or orcs or any other nasty things that come crawling in the night. The door frame will match the height of being 2 inches tall, and the third piece for the top is going to be about 1 1/4 to take into account the door frame itself being a little bit wider. Doesn't have to be anything too fancy here. In fact, she haphazardly throws on a couple extra pieces to make it look like it was ramshackledly repaired at the last minute. Maybe the hinges got blown off at one point. Whatever you want to do, just do you. And just have fun with it.
Adam, are we done yet?
No. But it is looking really nice. Check it out, everyone. This is what we've got so far for the build. All the walls are looking pretty solid. She's got her window and door. And we've added a couple extra pieces here and there to give it an even more ramshacked look. While she was sort of humming and hawing over the build, Mia decided that she wanted to add a little more pizzazz to the front entrance, making a bit of a shelter to keep out the acid rain from this little homestead. And it's cool little details like this that were really fun to add along the way. There was no rhyme or reason to this. This wasn't something we preconceived. It was more of a, what would this settler be building? And that's been kind of an interesting process with Mia, is right here you can see she's adding 2x4s in the form of these coffee stir sticks to cover up an imaginary hole that maybe got blasted through the ceiling here. She's doing these reno repairs that, in quotation marks, her character would have been adding to the home. And that was kind of an interesting thing to watch her do. You know, it's all cosmetic. It doesn't serve any purpose really in a gaming sense. But there was a narrative element to it, which really brought the whole thing to life. And it was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed making my tiny decrepit shed. I mean, so much can be done with little pieces.
And it's going to look great when it's fully painted.
Painting? What do you mean painting? Adam, you son of a gun! I don't want to paint! It's...
Oh, gee, she sounds really angry. Well, hopefully this pizza will calm her down a little bit. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's jump into the painting segment. We're going to use some black acrylic paint and apply a base coat primer across the entire surface. Now, we went a little bit lighter than we normally would with our painting. We want it to dry a lot quicker, but for you at home and me personally, I'm pretty generous with my black first layer. Once that's had ample time to dry, we're going to go in with a brown. In this case, we used a burnt umber. Now this is Mia's first time painting a structure, so I said for her to sort of feel the brush against the different surfaces. It's very different when you're using the brush against the wooden pieces compared to the screen door, compared to the wavy cardboard. And as she went along, she got sort of a feel for how much resistance there is, how heavy-handed she needs to be, to leave just a little bit of the black underneath. And this just takes time and practice. It's something you'll pick along the way. This is what it looks like with the first layer down. We did a second coat of brown just to really cement it, so to speak. And now we're going in with 2 parts brown and 1 part white to make a lighter color. As Mia's going along, she's getting lighter and lighter with her brush strokes, and she's very random and chaotic with the brush as well. It gives it this haphazard look to the surface. This is something that's been out in the elements for some time.
I thought it was to cover up my mistakes.
Well, that too, but I was trying to cover for you. But let's not dwell on the details, shall we? Let's just admire this piece. It's actually really coming together. And we're just going to progressively get lighter and lighter with our paints. At this point, I think we're looking at 3 parts white to 1 part brown, and just like the color, the brush strokes are getting lighter and lighter as well. And Mia's really experimenting here. The difference between using the wavy cardboard segments compared to the coffee stir sticks, one of them is a lot more finesse, lighter. The other one is a little bit more savage and randomized. And it's a learned skill. This is something, even in the last hour that she's been painting, she's starting to pick up the different styles. And yeah, it's just an acquired skill. You guys should have fun with it, experiment a little bit, maybe get a couple scrap pieces together and try a few things out and see what you can come up with. Now, at any point along the way, you can say, this is done. For us, we're trying to match it to some prefabricated pieces, so we're going to go a little bit lighter. We're going to take some pure white and start dry brushing it along the edges. There's hardly anything on the brush at this point. There's a little bit of paint in the bristles, and that's about it. But you can see right here, it's really making all the elements pop out, especially on the wooden pieces, because you can actually see the actual grains of the wood just popping out. We're going to do a little bit of highlighting along the edges of the metal sheets here before we go in with some metallic colors, and overall, it just makes the entire piece a little bit brighter.
I was really intimidated with the idea of trying to learn all these crazy paint techniques. I did not go to art school, but in the end, it was really straightforward. Just back and forth, making sure there's not too much paint on the paintbrush, and just having a feel for it, having fun. I was impressed.
And you would not believe that this is a rookie's very first art project. For someone that's never picked up a brush before or a blade, this is phenomenal. Even for a veteran, this is looking really solid. And that's what we're trying to do with this series, is inspire you guys to not feel as intimidated going into a build like this. It's actually relatively straightforward if you find a good tutorial. This whole piece is using the exact same shade of paint, but the natural shadows of, say, the wavy cardboard compared to the wooden elements, they just add to the overall atmosphere. At this point, we're just going with a pure white a second time over to add a few more highlights here and there and just make all those elements pop. At this point, you could add some extra details, like if you want to do some grays on some of the wooden planks to make them look rotted slightly. You could even add in a little bit of green tinge here and there. Maybe they looted some posts from a nearby fence. But that's totally up to you how much detail that you want to put in. For ours, we're keeping it very generic colors to match the rest of the scenery that we've built for this series. Now it's time to go in with a new element. We're going to use the metals. For this one, we're using gunmetal, also known as bolt gun if you're using the Citadel paints, and this is getting applied to any areas that would be metallic, so the wavy cardboard, certain areas of the screen door segments that would have been bolted in place perhaps. It's totally up to you how much you want to do. If it spills onto the wooden elements, don't really worry about it. In the end, this is just going to have a very grimy look overall, and finesse is not exactly a staple of this build. Now once you have your bolt gun down, you're going to let that dry. You can go back in with some silver if you like, or some aluminum colors, something a little bit lighter, and you're just going to add little elements here and there, that whole chaotic approach that we used before. It shows where maybe something's scraped against the metal, maybe where something's impacted it at one point, somewhere where the elements have stripped parts of the paint off and leaving the bare metal behind. Whatever element you want to use, go for it. Until you get something that looks like this. This is a fantastic piece. Mia's done a heck of a job. And again, this is her first piece. 2 hours ago, I sat her down unexpectedly and told her she's doing this entire episode by herself. I think she's done an amazing job. What do you guys think? Are you guys impressed with this? 'Cause I sure am.
Now I can fill my yard with tiny little decrepit sheds that small beings can live in. They're gonna be everywhere! Yeah, nobody at my high school reunion is gonna believe me when I tell them I made this. Look at this, it's gorgeous. I would recommend 10 out of 10. Excellent.
And here we have the entire...
That one's mine.
Yes, that one's yours. This second one here is the prototype that kicked this whole thing off that I built from scratch, followed by a couple miscellaneous pieces I had laying around. Clock Tower that got a little bit of a rebasing, and a pile o' guns from the Dawn of War series. The next one is also from Dawn of War, which is the Orc Mech Shop that I built for our gaming club. This next one you probably remember from the Fallout series, which got a new rebasing, followed by a piece made out of gutter. That's right, it's gutter trash. And then we have for our second panel, we did a train station with some miscellaneous bits, yet another piece that was made out of a gutter, and this one's just out of some pipes and some tubings to make this septic pump station. Next up is just a miscellaneous building and yet another gutter piece. And that is our whole collection we built over the weekend.
Well, folks, that's been today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Maybe found some useful information in there.
Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends.
Exactly. And if there's anything that you want us to build in an upcoming episode, let us know in the comments down below, and maybe we'll be able to do it next season.
He's still here.
On that note, I've been Mr. Waugh from Mr. Waugh Media. I hope you were thoroughly entertained.